This week on Around the Corner, we're in Bentonville at 21C.
And 21C actually stands for 21st Century because right inside of that hotel, there's actually an art museum and all of the artwork is contemporary.
All right, let's talk about the origin story here. Founders, Louisville, Kentucky, they've got this art collection and they want to make it accessible to the public. 11 years later.
And 8 locations later, we're here in Northwest Arkansas. Fun fact, me and my husband, we actually came and looked at the art on our first date.
It's a love story. Let's head inside. All right, so as soon as you walk inside, you're walking right into the art gallery as well.
And because it is a fully functioning hotel, that means that they're open 24/7, 365 days a year, encouraging you to come and check out the art.
Yeah, and the art exhibits that we're gonna see today, they change once a year. Wanna take a look?
Let's do it.
Oh, hello there. By now, some of you have recognized there's green penguins in here. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, they're actually a part of the exhibit. There's about 15 of these sculptures around the hotel, and they encourage you to have fun, be interactive, and maybe even take them with you around the hotel.
Yeah, you could take them to dinner, and for those staying, you might even find one in your hotel room.
All right, let's go.
All right, and a treat for those that'll be staying here at the hotel. When you step out of the elevator onto your floor, you're gonna notice some more art on the walls that's featuring local artists.
And even if you're not staying here, you can still get a treat. You can head here to the Hive for some local cuisine, and you can even bring your special friend. Table?
Yeah, I guess that's gonna do it for us this week on Around the Corner. Hey, look, another penguin. Let's join him.
Let's do it.
I'm sitting over here. Get over there.
Before it got its name, this dirt road was the original Walton Boulevard. Of course, this is what it looks like today.
And while many things have changed, one thing has remained the same. This house right behind us.
Yeah, this is Pill Mansion, built 10 years after the Civil War. Inside are lots of artifacts from then a prominent family in Northwest Arkansas. Let's go check it out. Now, the only reason we get to stand in this grand foyer here today is because the community came together in the 1990s and decided to restore this home to its original glory.
Yeah, and within each room, you get to learn about each member of the Pill family and who they were.
So let's start with the wife, Mary Emmeline. When visiting the Pill family, the first place that you would walk into is this room right here, the parlor. It's a place that you would come to drink tea and maybe even catch up on life. Well, as you can see, the pink wallpaper, it has Mary Emmeline written all over it. Well, who is Mary Emmeline? She's the lady of the household, and she spent a lot of her time in here hosting guests as her husband Samuel was gone in DC chasing his political career. Now, fun fact about this is her favorite color was pink. I can relate to that one, but that's because she was born on Valentine's Day.
This was Samuel Pill's personal study after the Civil War. He came back home here. Now, he did serve 4 terms in U.S. Congress, so he was gone quite a bit, but when he was home, he was in this office. Now, there are a lot of things in here, his personal items, like this wallet that his grandkids say he used to set out on the porch and hand them nickels out of it. After serving in Congress, he actually started practicing law. A lot of the law that he would practice would be for the native tribes in hopes of them obtaining and keeping their own land. Above the fireplace, you'll find a picture of Samuel Pill.
Now, through that hallway right there is the dining room where you'll find Sam Pill's monogram china from his time serving in Congress, but the kids couldn't even get in there until they were at least 13 years old. Now, where they could go? Up here. Now, one of the coolest things that I have seen is this right here. This is Bucky, the original rocking horse that the Peels boys played with back in the 1800s. And even going cooler than that, they continue to pass it down generation to generation. 5 generations of kids continue to saddle up and give old Bucky a ride, and it's still holding on today. All right, you know the drill. We've only given you just a taste of what this place offers. They do have more. There is an event space, and also they've got things going on throughout the year that you can bring your family to.
Yeah, and you can't see it right now because it's winter, but on the grounds is a botanical gardens. You'll definitely want to check that out in the spring and summer.
A lot of neat things to see here, but that's it for this week. We'll see you next time on Around the Corner. On this week's episode of Around the Corner, we're learning about the history of Rogers.
Yeah, everything that went into making it what it is today is right here at the Rogers Historical Museum.
Guys, we love museums.
Especially you.
Can we go now?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
You ever wonder where Rogers gets its name from? It's because of this right here. The San Francisco Rail Company is coming through Northwest Arkansas, but where are they going to put the tracks down? The general manager at the time is trying to figure that out, C.W. Rogers. The people living here, they rush out. They're like, pick us, pick us. We'll name our town after you. So May 10th, 1881, the first railroad track runs through Rogers. That's a picture of the train coming into town right there. Now at that time, apple production was booming here. That dominates the cargo on the trains until bugs, disease, weather cripples the production of the apples. Doesn't slow the people down. They pivot towards poultry, and we know where that got us today.
Have you ever wondered if any prominent people came out of Rogers or even Benton County? Well, the answer is yes, and this exhibit will tell you all about them, like Edsel Ford, who was a published author. Some of his work is here. And then one of the most interesting is Louise Thaden. Now, you know the name Thaden because of Thaden School, even Thaden Airport. Well, Louise Thaden, she was an aviatrix, even friends with Amelia Earhart. You know Amelia's story because she disappeared. It made headlines. But Louise here, she actually competed against Earhart, and she would win a lot. There's some pictures here of her back in the day, 1920s, at the Women's Air Derby. Now, this exhibit is going to tell you all about her and her story. Many others who come from Benton County and Rogers. You definitely want to check it out.
Chances are you've heard about Beaver Lake, but have you heard about Montagnais? Well, it's a resort town that's completely underwater at the lake. So let's set the scene. It's the early 1900s. William Harvey moves from Chicago to Northwest Arkansas, buys 300 acres of land, and decides he wants to make a resort town. This right here, Montagnais. They had their own post office, their own school, their own bank, and they even had the first indoor swimming pool. Sounds like a pretty cool place, right? First indoor swimming pool in the state. Well, this was a happening spot for about 2 decades, but unfortunately, Harvey got into some financial troubles. From there, he sold the place off, but unfortunately, it was kind of let go after that. So let's fast forward. It's the 1960s. Beaver Lake is being built, and they completely flood the remaining parts of Montagnais. Now, there are still some parts that you can see at the Beaver Lake that we know today. This is some of it right here that's covered up now by water, but when the lake gets low, you can sometimes see some of the steps.
In addition to the permanent exhibit highlighting the history of Rogers, they also have temporary ones here, like this one highlighting the toys all the way back to the 1800s to the 2000s.
Yeah, some of you still upset about the lines y'all were in for the Cabbage Patch doll and the Tickle Me Elmo.
Yes, if you want to be reminded about those potential fights you got into, you can come and check out this exhibit, but not for long. It closes after Saturday, so come out this weekend. But the good news is they have more exhibits on the way. The next one coming is about the age of alcohol and the prohibition.
I'll have to see that one. All right, we'll see you next time on Around the Corner.
This week on Around the Corner, we're in Fayetteville at the Arkansas Air and Military Museum at Drake Field.
Yeah, if you're into tanks, planes, trucks, it all can be found here. You can explore dozens.
And while you're exploring, you can also check out the history of aviation through our Kansas eyes. Well, we've got our wings on.
Check.
Now, let's fly.
Come on, let us start the tour.
It's all in the wrist. All right, so what you're going to find here is the history of Arkansas aviation. Going back to 1910, shortly after the Wright brothers, they had their flight. We saw ours in Fort Smith. You're going to get to learn about these pilots up close and personal, like Field Kinley here. Out of Pea Ridge, he's considered Arkansas's first ace, where he flew in World War I and had 12 confirmed kills.
Yeah, and you're going to even learn about more Arkansas pilots like Pierce McKinnon here, who flew in Nazi Germany. You can see some of his actual artifacts, like his jacket, the compass. You get to see it up close and personal. He was even known for painting a razorback on the side of his plane, honoring the home state.
And speaking of Razorbacks, have you ever heard of the Flying Razorbacks? Well, local legend Max Hall, he actually came up with the name for his squadron while piloting helicopters. So a really neat thing about this is he was so proud of his home mascot. They helped paint this on the side of their helicopter door. He made sure that this door went on every single mission with him, no matter the helicopter, so dedicated to the cause that he actually saved this door after a helicopter crash in a jungle.
All right, so this is the massive hangar, the show floor, where you get to see everything up close and personal.
Yeah, it's really neat. I bet Zach, wait, where is Zach?
I don't think you're supposed to be up there.
I asked. It's okay. Now let's do a picture break. All right, stop focusing on me. You're going to want to check all this out. Some of the treasures you're going to find here on this tour, like this 1947 Air Coupe. This just isn't a regular 1947 Air Coupe. No. This is Sam Walton's 1947 Air Coupe, purchased back in 1954 for only $1,800. This so-called safe and docile airplane only requires minimal flying experience. They say it's as simple as driving a car.
Now, this right here is an infamous Learjet. Come take a look. Do you know who Barry Sills is? Maybe the story down in Mena of the drug runs and the drug cartel? Well, Barry Sills owned this plane. Maybe you've seen the movie American Made. If not, the tour guides here will tell you all about the story and what maybe went on inside this plane. After that, it was used in air shows.
And while you're on the tour, you'll make a stop in this hangar that's full of military planes and vehicles.
How about story time inside a Vietnam helicopter?
Yeah, they call it Soaring Stories, where you could say reading takes flight.
Oh, that's good.
I think they actually say that.
We're wrapping up our tour in the original terminal at Drake Field.
Yeah, they've got more than 2,500 artifacts that they're rotating every 6 months.
Yeah, you have to come learn about all this. We had a great time, right?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you next time on
Around the Corner.